Peter Parker and his family may have returned to New York City, but his troubles are only beginning to mount, both as a superhero and as a parent. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 19 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the story, we actually flash forward in time a bit to after the events of the previous issue's heart-pounding cliffhanger. We see Peter's son Richard actually having a meeting with Felicia Hardy Blackcat, the girl he's been crushing over recently, and the girl who seemingly betrayed him at the end of the last issue to Kingpin and the Sinister Six, though as we can clearly see by how casual their conversation is, they don't exactly hold any ill will to each other. And as we'll soon learn, there's actually a pretty good, if pretty messed up reason as to why. You see, we end up flashing back again, and see Richard not long after the ambush was sprung on him in the previous issue. Kingpin makes him an ultimatum. He can either give up Spider-Man, the Goblin, and Mysterio, or they're going to torture the information out of him. In fairness, though, Wilson was probably going to torture this poor kid one way or another. It's really just a matter of how much he's going to enjoy himself while doing the deed. Now, with his back against the wall and no way out, we see Richard do something he's never actually done before, and that is turn full control of his suit over to the AI running it, and oh man, are the results something to behold. The second the suit is in control, it takes on a much more monstrous form, one much more in line with the traditional 616 interpretation of Venom. And yes, we can really call him Venom now, can't we? Miles gave him the idea for the name during their little crossover, and now he has this extra special form he can call on. Venom makes short work brutalizing Kingpin's Bullseye Squad, and he probably very well would have killed Walter Hardy, Felicia's dad, and the original Black Cat if she didn't step on in to stop him. Her words seeming to be the only thing to actually calm down the raging beast that Richard has become and reach the good man underneath the costume. Now, Kingpin and his men manage to escape the worst of Venom's attack, but later when they go to lick their wounds, they really start to begin to figure just how screwed they really are. And I mean, hey, let's face it, when they started, they were the Sinister Six. Now they're like, what, the Fragile Four? Craven is missing and assumed dead. Mysterio turned against them and is actively working with their enemies. Felicia proved that her heart isn't 100% in this whole super villainy thing, and worse still, there's probably someone in this very room who's also in cahoots with the heroes, a mole, if you will, or maybe even Molus Manus. Mr. Negative says that he could simply use his powers to check out who in the room is lying and who's not, but he ends up getting shot down completely. Because hey, let's not forget, everyone in this room is balancing several secrets they would rather others not find out. Kingpin vows to not let these setbacks bring him down, and that he will redouble his efforts to kill Spider-Man, then the Green Goblin, and Mysterio. Before everything is said and done, little does Wilson Fisk know that Wesley, one of the other Mysterios, is currently wired for sound and allowing Gwen and Harry to listen in on this meeting from across town right now. Now, it's after that we end up transitioning on over to something completely different. The Mole Man ends up breaking into the Parker's apartment only to find Spider-Man waiting for him. Apparently, Peter has been staking this place out, waiting for one of his many enemies to try and make a move on him and his family so that he can take the fight directly to the bad guys. Only here's the thing, Mole Man might not actually be a bad guy, at least not in the traditional sense. He put his neck on the line helping Harry and Peter escape from Craven, and now he's worried that Kingpin or Negative is gonna find out the part he played in their escape. And hey, why did Mole Man help Spider-Man in the first place? Well, as he explains, being an older super criminal, his heart isn't exactly in this life anymore. He wants out. But Kingpin and the others will never let him leave, meaning that if Spider-Man, Goblin, or Mysterio takes them down, then maybe, just maybe, he'll have the opportunity to burrow off into the sunset. Oh, also, furthermore, he really does seem to have the powers to burrow. He burrowed through a wall in the Parker's apartment despite the fact that they are not on the first floor. Now, while Mole Man certainly gave Peter a lot to think about back home, all he can think about is what the hell is wrong with his son Richard, who ends up sneaking through the window right at that very moment, getting caught by his parents. MJ is easily the most upset, threatening to tan Richard's hide with one of his biggest, thickest books. Peter is certainly mad too, but he's also a little bit more conflicted. Yes, he's mad, but he's also happy that his son's alive too, and he orders the suit to make sure that he sits there and thinks about what he's done. While Well, him and MJ actually take the time to figure out how they're properly going to punish their son. It's also here we discovered that the Parker family is currently living with Aunt Anna in a house that's only growing more cramped by the minute. As you'll remember, MJ's mom as well as her sister Gail are also living there, and it's up in the air how much they actually know about the family's wheelings and dealings as they relate to Peter's double life as Spider-Man. And even if that wasn't bad enough, you remember MJ just really doesn't like her family, so if she wasn't stressed before, she's really stressed now. And wouldn't you know it, but all of these different factors, all of these different pressures end up boiling over as MJ and Peter end up having their first real deal fight of the series. And hey, you know what, if you were one of those people complaining that Mary Jane is maybe a little too passive in this brand new Ultimate Universe, well, strap in, because I promise you're gonna love this one. As Mary Jane says to Peter, up until now, she's been a pretty big team player. She's been a supportive wife and mother, even when everything around her was starting to change at light speed. Peter decided to keep a secret about being a superhero. Hey, no big deal. She loves and respects him and knows that he'll eventually come clean, and he did. Oh, what's that? You got kidnapped by supervillains? No worries, I'll take this one on the chin and supermom my way out of this one. Oh, we have to upend our whole lives and run now because evil men who secretly control the entire city are coming to kill us? Alright, fair enough, we'll do that. Oh, my son Richard is now wearing an AI suit and acting as a superhero himself? Well, I mean, that's a little weird, but hey, it's a thing you and him can do together, right? It should bring you closer. Okay, now our son is starting to sneak out of the house, talk back, and put himself in horrible danger. You know what, Peter? This is officially the straw that broke the camel's back now that your life as a superhero is negatively impacting our son. And yeah, as you might have guessed, Peter doesn't exactly have much of a comeback to that kind of argument, only saying, look, I don't like the AI suit either, but it actually did save our son's life. And until I can properly take down Kingpin and his agents, our lives are only going to get more dangerous, and I like the idea of him having some way to fight back. MJ mulls that one over for a bit before eventually saying that the only way forward is if Peter is 100% honest with her about everything. No more lies by omission. Time to finally tell me the deep dark secrets of not only this world, but also the people you're working with in Harry and Gwen as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 19, everybody, and overall I thought this one was another real strong offering for the series. Maybe not as strong as some of the other offerings we've seen so far from Ultimate Spider-Man, but with a lot of interesting stuff happening under the hood and a lot of fun seeds planted for later. I said it before and I'll say it again, but Richard becoming this world's answer to Venom is a really interesting twist on a classic, well-trodden story. I love how we're not exactly 100% sure how much of Richard's teenage rebellion is just that and how much of it is actively being influenced by the Venom AI. I wasn't expecting Mole Man of all characters to have this much hidden depth and nuance to him, but I guess I probably should, considering that he's a Fantastic Four character and this is Hickman, and he loves him some Fantastic Four. More than anything though, I think I really appreciate how Hickman chose to handle Mary Jane and Peter having their first big fight of the series. Mainly how they weren't afraid to let it all build and ferment before it eventually ended up popping off. You know, it felt like a real marital argument, and even the resolution too felt not only relatable but actually kind of healthy too. Again, everyone's gonna fight in their relationships, but knowing how to fight without falling to pieces is probably one of the most important skills you can learn. Overall, I would give this one another very positive 8.5 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.